All right, well, this is part 2 for IXL P20 fourth grade. And we were talking about the improper fractions. This one right here, improper fractions. This is an example of an improper fraction when the numerator is bigger than the denominator. It means that we have some amount that is greater than 1. So if we're going to put these fractions in order from least to greatest, we're going to go up here on our number line. We would put a bubble here for 1/3, a bubble here for 5/3, a bubble here for 2/3. Put them in order from least to greatest. We would have to rearrange these. This one is the least. And then if I could magically move this one, which you will be able to do in IXL, you move this one over here, and then this one would be here on this end, the right, furthest right, because it is the greatest. Then you might have a problem like this. Here's a number line. Here's another number line. This one is a certain amount of eighths, and it's asking you to graph these: 1/8, 1/4, and 1/2. The tricky part is when we don't have like denominators. In order to graph them properly, we need to know they need to have the same denominator. So that means we're going to have to make an equivalent fraction for this one and an equivalent fraction for this one. So 1/8, super easy. It's right there on the number line. We're going to put our dot on it. But 1/4, we have to figure out what number of eighths is equivalent to 1/4. So we have to ask ourselves, and I have to make my text box a little bigger. We have to ask ourselves, I'm going to turn this into a certain number of eighths. That means I have to multiply this by 2, and that will give me 8. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So I multiplied 4 times 2. So I have to multiply 1 times 2, which would give me 2. So 1/4 is equal to 2/8. So I would go up here and fill this one in for 2/8. And then how many eighths is 1/2? Well, if you're thinking, you could say, oh, well, I know half of 8 is 4. So it would be 4/8. You could also do it by saying, what am I going to multiply the 2 times to get 8? Well, I would multiply 2 times 4 and get 8. So I have to multiply 1 times 4 and get 4, and see it's the same number. So then you're going to fill that one in. And then we have to graph them. Then we have to put them in the correct order. And let's say we want to put them in order from greatest to least. So which one of these is the greatest? Well, 1/2 is, because 1/2 is 4/8. So we're going to put 4/8, and I'm just going to do that right here if I'm going to put them in order from greatest to least. Remember, on IXL, you'd be able to just move them around. And then the next one would be 1/4, because that's equal to 2/8. And then last but not least would be 1/8. So that's how you would put them. You'd graph them first by putting the dots up here, which I can't figure out how to do, so I'm just running my little cross over them. And then you have to go down here and put them in order. So that is how you do IXL P20. If you need to watch this again, keep watching it till you've got it. If you need to contact me, that would be great also. I would be willing to help you with that.